I want to give up praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honor to Apostle Jim Master as well. Peace, blessings, salutations to Yahakim, Yahuakwa, tuning in, listening, striving, hoping, waiting patiently for the kingdom of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua. For righteousness to be restored back in this earth in this wicked time. Was watching this channel, Industry Hoax, man. And, this shit really, oh man, yo, everything's a lie. It makes you really be like, yo, this is truly Babylon, the mother of our harlot, sorcery, and enchantments. It makes you, looking at this, it just takes me back, growing up. And, when you, grew up different areas, different places, man, you see, a lot of the videos, this guy goes into, pretty much throughout your whole life, you probably seen, you've been around, rap, you've been around, MLK, Madness, it's a lot, definitely everybody knows about Tupac, Biggie, Bloods, Crips, gangs, drugs, the destruction of the so-called black community, even trickles down to the so-called Latinos, Hispanics as well. I remember growing up around them as well, and seeing the same thing depicted on Judah onto Northern Kingdom, so-called Latino, Hispanics, Native Americans, and truly, it was an eye opener. Pretty much you you ask yourself like, damn. And pretty much, everything's a lie. What we've been taught, and the thing about it is, I was watching this, and I was like, yo, during these times, you pretty much just took it face value for what it was. I was watching that Biggie joint with the hoax of Biggie, and I was like, damn, and during those, it was 1996. Nobody, it wasn't no cell phones like we have today. I'm making this video on my phone. It wasn't, we didn't have um internet computer, especially if you wasn't, had money like that. You wasn't, pretty much the really access you had was like a library, or so to speak. So it was so easy for Esau pretty much to just throw this shit in, put it all on the media, and confuse you, and throw the sorcery and enchantments on the people. And this how and as um I'm speaking on this in my era, I'm a '90s baby. And just imagine what our fathers, our mothers, and our uncles and our grandmothers, how much enchantment and sorcery and lies they have inherited. So it just this ponder on that, and then look at what they taught us and passed down to us. You had the college thing, money, education, and that pretty much been taught amongst our people. Love the system, and everything pretty much a lie. Us, nationality being stripped from us. Let me get that real quick. Discontinue. Come on, phone's been acting straight all damn day. Come on, man. Damn. All right, this is Jeremiah 17:4. It says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee." What did the Lord give us? He gave us a heritage. He, gave us a name, being known as the Prince of the Power. Yasharallah, the 12 tribes of Israel, due to this captivity and the so-called white man, being pretty much lords over us for the moment. He has broken us and constantly put and drilled through enchantment, sorcery, and witchcraft, his way of thinking upon us. And that's why you have, it's funny as hell because when you watch those videos, man, it really shows how they created niggas, man. They really did create the narrate. They created the so-called black woman into what she is now. The so-called black man, he's a fucking, he's through. So-called Latino, Hispanics, West Indians, they're pretty much the same thing that they do. They used on the so-called black men, they used on other tribes through that media. And, all the tribes now is basically cut asunder. We know that Judah, the so-called black man being the head, he has been destroyed. And to the point where, there's no fixing Israel. Only death is can fix this place. Let me see. What is that? Why stricken? Yeah, why stricken thou anymore? Paraphrasing. So this is Isaiah. Let me see. Yeah. Isaiah 1. I'm gonna start at 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. And again, you being taught that you're black, Puerto Rican, Hispanics, Dominican, Cuban, and so forth, and you took in pretty much the way of the oppressor, and you love oppression. Jake loves oppression. Like the scripture says, is Israel a homeborn slave? Israel loved this place. He loves Egypt, going back to when Moses was carrying their way. When the Lord was delivered us and was about to set us up in our own land, what did Israel do? They pretty much mocked and, was being a burden to Moses and Acts, but was telling Moses, yo, we should have just stayed in Egypt in bondage. At least we was good. We had pretty much food. We had our meals and whatever. And Jake is through. And that's the same thing with Jake now. So it says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know, my people do not consider. And again, our people, out of all this, man, it's crazy. Even a Simeonite today was like, yo, did I hear about what, Drake and Meek Mill just bad? I'm like, what? I'm like, hold on. How the hell can a Degrassi kid say anything? And again, when you go into this channel, it really shows you how pretty much everybody that's on that goddamn TV has been prepped, nourished, molded, and used for enchantments, for each. And you got to think about it. I always wondered, Jake being a spectacle, was sought. Jake is. I've seen Jake. I've seen a lot of Jakes that have done like things. You be like, yo, I see why we're a top nation. We're beautiful people. Salted and Lord really gave Israel what I'm trying to say. We are above all nations, and you ask yourself like, yo, why isn't he? Why I've seen Jake that could rap like right off, nothing written, and I've seen Jake do all types of different things. You be like, yo, you marvel like, yo, why isn't he on TV? So why doesn't why But then you go back and then you look at who's on TV, who has been that's pretty much being shoved down your throat. These people have been nourished to it's funny, the brothers that was on the chat, they was talking about Tupac, and and it's funny as hell because you got to think about it. Yo, this nigga was a movie actor. Nigga, lived in Baltimore. Went to he was this old feminine looking dude, and all of a sudden he's a gangster. Bloods, Crips shooting at cops, and um went to West Coast, raised East Coast West Coast beef. Right after NWA with the gangster rap and thug life, and even when you look at thug, the go into the word thug, it goes back to a goddess or a deity of war, rage, if I'm not mistaken. So this whole, you know, again, this everything we've been taught is death, destruction, hatred, and everything against the scriptures. And again, man, this, all this makes you just think. You be like, yo, this shit is crazy. Esau has to pay. Yeah, Tupac East Coast West Coast beef. I watched that today. I was like, yo, this shit is, yeah, yo, this is wild. And I even watched it as Notorious B.I.G. alive, and it's crazy, man. To watch this all on TV, and then to come about it in 2021. Us knowing the scriptures and knowing how Esau does and uses his enchantments, it's just crazy because you still have people that really believe. I mean, you will watch a Tupac video or he do or him talking, and you really have people like, oh my God, this is Tupac is the greatest, and but the thing about it, you can see clearly that yo he was staged. Same thing with you have another video or if I'm not mistaken, I just seen another like they're doing another segment about Biggie and Tupac. About their murder. I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, yo, come on, man, cut it out, man. You know, you gotta ask yourself, like, come on, man. So you telling me there was no murders found? It was all a joke, man. Then they keep, it's crazy. But going back to the scripture, it says, yeah, a sinful nation and people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are going away backward, and that's our people, due to these enchantments, due to the effects of slavery, what Esau, the so-called white man, done to us and shoved down our throats. Again, it goes into this. Why should you be stricken anymore? So why? What's the point of the Lord keep stricken our people and trying to pretty much you know what is it? It says in I believe it's Second Chronicle. It tells you when we are afflicted in our land, when we are afflicted in our captivity, we shall remember ourselves. But Jake is just becoming more of a Babylonian. As you can see, Jake here is oppressed. They pretty much. You look at Dr. Claude Anderson. It tells you how Jake is broken, and what they're doing now is just sucking the last bit of just pretty much what I'm saying, income or any type of ways of fashion that we have of outlets of making money is pretty much just gone to the point where you know the thing about it is you would think Jake would remember themselves and act and revolt or wonder like what the hell is really going on. But Jake, they out of all this is going on, Jake wants to vote. Jake is looking all these problems that's been done to our people by Esau. Jake is here. It is going right back to the oppressor who caused your problems and asking them for a change instead of realizing. you know, going to our power and seeking and seeking the truth. Here it is that the Lord has sent prophets amongst our people, and they none, again, they don't regard, they don't consider. So why should ye be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart is faint. So your mind is done. Jake is done, man. So from the sole of the foot even to the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed. There you go. So pretty much the pain, the trauma, the catastrophes, the how you say it, the devastation, the blows that have been done to us. We pretty much we have no understanding of why this was done. So Esau did pretty much gave you a quick fix to shut you up, to give you a gift, which the scripture talks about, a gift to strength the heart. So now you, Jake, so have taken the gift from Esau, and now he just throws band-aids on your wounds. He's not fixing it. He's not healing you. You know, it's when you come back and repent and get the understanding of why this happened to us. That's when you'll be healed. So it says, yeah, putrefying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burnt with fire. Your land strangers devour in your presence, and is desolate as overthrown by strangers. So yeah, man. It says, and the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except the Lord of hosts have left unto us a very small remnant. We shall have been as Sodom, and should have and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. So we would have just been destroyed, man. If the Lord didn't leave a remnant, yo, Jacob, it'd be no more. Um, Bear with me one moment. Going back, it says, Jeremiah 17:4. Um, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever, meaning a long time. But that debt is ready to be paid. But unfortunately, through what's been going on in this captivity, and how our people have pretty much just gave up. There's no, they don't consider. There's no sound. There's no upbeat in them. They just gave up. So it says, this is eventually what's going to happen. America's going to be destroyed, and you 2/3 got it is going to go with it. Let me see. Isaiah, Revelation, no, sorry, Revelation 18:21, and it's saying, the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it to the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall found no more at all. So America's going to be destroyed. All the sorcery, witchcraft, and enchantments is going right along with it. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, because that's pretty much one of the biggest thing Esau did, and used to deceive the whole world through these false celebrities. Tupac is pretty much known across the four corners. Jay-Z, Beyonce, they even have, oh shit, Daddy Yankee done a Martico Calderon, and you have different other musicians. Beanie Man, Bounty Killer. Esau pretty much hit every source, of media stream and so forth to deceive the nations, man. That's why at one time everybody looked up towards America as the land of gold, milk, and honey, the land of opportunity, precious. But then when they come here, they see like, yo, this is not it. So it says, no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. The voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorcery were all nations deceived. So the sorcery and the witchcraft that Esau used amongst Babylon and promoted across the four corners, it deceived the whole nation. That's why the scripture says the nation had become drunk off of her wine. And in her was found the blood of prophets. Because when you go across the four different parts of the other countries, I remember the brother telling me even in Colombia, you have those Jakes in Northern Kingdom and Colombia, they admire rap. They love hip hop. And when you go across the other countries, you have other rap is very is pushed, man. You know, a lot of people know about rap music. You even had it was a video showing so-called the Japanese, which you know some of them you could tell were Jakes, but the like the Latino the Chicano rap was very big over there too. So it says and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and all that was slain upon the earth. Um, it says the KJV dictionary of enchant. It says to practice sorcery or witchcraft on anything, to give efficacy to anything by songs. Oh my goodness, songs of sorcery or fascination, and that's why they give you idols and celebrities so you can idolize them. You know, uh, one video I was watching earlier, they was had little kids rapping goddamn Tupac songs. You know, you have little kids that want to be little baby. You have little kids that want to be like Bootsy. You have little kids that just want to be like Gucci, Young Jeezy. I mean, the list goes on. You got kids now want to be like Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's a fucking faggot. You got um, and one thing I've noticed now how they're using Dimbo. That's a Simeonite so-called Dominican rap form of rap music, and you know a lot of those dudes now are fucking complete weirdos. And this is pretty much like the perfect time to really allow them Simeon to really shine right now, because that's wicked ass music. Um, so it says yeah, so to give efficacy to anything by songs or of sorcery or fascination, and now because let me see, to subdue by charms or spells, to delight the highest degree, to charm, to ravish with pleasure, as the description enchants me, we were enchanted with the music. Let me see. So yeah, you know, and it shows do TV. You know they show you guys. They show you that they're living in pleasure. These so-called women that's in the industry. They show them as if they're living in a lifestyle of complete pleasure and happiness, and that's how they beguile you. That's how they put that sorcery on you. You know, by charms, spells. They show these people on TV as if they living a balling, a lavish life, and deep down inside, they're not. Here it is. You're in your cot, your poverty, and you idolize them and think you're gonna get to that type of level. But you gotta understand, these people were groomed, and you had a lot of these people that have been in the industry. Their parents was in tune, and they had to make that sacrifice. So their kids were the first ones. Pretty much what I'm saying. Like if P Diddy has kids, since he pretty much is in the industry, his kids will come out because pretty much he had to make that sacrifice, that oath. Just like look at Will Smith, that they pretty much is juiced in. That's why their kids were able to make songs. You gotta hit their daughter Willow talking about I whip my head back and forth. That was a song of witchcraft. So um yeah, man, this how the way this world is ran is all lies, and that TV and that media, the movies and so forth, man, it really has destroyed our people. So it says Isaiah 47:10. It says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, None seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know." And this is what's about to happen to America. America about to be destroyed. Verse 12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. And even though on the left hand side, going shit, when you go to Exodus 7 and 9, you in that time when Yahweh was ready to deliver Israel to Egypt, you had at one time Pharaoh had power on the left hand side. Exodus chapter 7 and 9. When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, this was the angel was telling Moses and Aaron, saying, "Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh." No, Salaki. This is Pharaoh speaking of. Let me hold on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is yeah, the Lord speaking to Moses, and he's telling pretty much forewarning what's going to happen. He said, "When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent." And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servant, and it became a serpent. And the Lord is now right here. The Lord is showing His power. And then now here it is, Pharaoh showing his power on the left hand side through Yahweh. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt, because why I read this is because today Esau has the power on the left hand side, and he has his sorcerers, his magicians, which he conjure up and calls in. He have certain men that they call, and they get together and they write down these seances. And Jake is in it too. Jake is in the mix too. They conjure up all these demons, and they make these plays, write down certain some. That's why a lot of times when you flip, or what you call, you flip things how the way they got words, and you flip them around, it means something else. This shit is demonic as hell. It says, Salaki. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments, for they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rod. So at the end of the day, regardless of what you see, how Esau seems as if he prevails, the Lord is going to win at the end. So it says, yeah, that's why I said, if so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. But the thing about it, with even though all what Esau has done, his power on the left hand side is not going to deliver him from those nukes or him going into slavery. He said, "Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee." But the thing about it is not Esau power on the left hand side is not going to prevail. So again, you are people that sold out, are people that has pretty much, not seeking counsel, um, has revolted. They don't take heed to what's the prophets that the Lord has sent out in these last days. You're gonna be destroyed with Babylon. You're gonna be destroyed with Esau, the so-called white man. Pretty much that's it. Lord's will. You edified. Again, hey, I recommend this channel. Watch some of the videos. So you're gonna think, you're like, yo, what the fuck, man? Esau is the fucking devil. Because again, I was just pondering I was on a plantation. I was just pondering. I was just sitting there like, yo, man, I know so many dudes that even me, I remember, I how the way I was growing up. I had more so, I kind of favored Tupac more than I did Biggie. And I was like, yo, I listened to Tupac way more than I listened to Biggie. And it's crazy how, you see this, you be like, yo, that's crazy, because yo, Esau the devil, man, because he is like he hit every, how you say, Esau, when Esau studied our minds, and he knows how, that's why the scripture says he did a diligent search, if I'm not mistaken, and it was deep. And um, Esau having us as slaves, and having the bodies, and the time and so forth, and the wealth and the power in his hands, he was able to do studies on the mind. And Esau knows how to at, it's like every angle, Esau destroyed us. But ultimately, this is how you know it's ultimately of the Heavenly Father, because it's like, this is like, it was like a perfect blow that only the Lord can rewind you, or pretty much bring you out of. And if the Lord's not dealing with you, man, you're just done. You're done, man. There's no really unwinding the sorcery and the enchantments that Esau had put on our people. Because you look at Jake, you'd be like, yo, I can't, Jake, what, Jake, you'd be like, yo, Jake really is this low to sell his own people like that out, like he does? But then when you come back to reality, you'd be like, yo, God, yo, Jake would do that, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and in the Lord's will, you have edified. But that would say shalom.